Bruh, I'm gonna tell you, it's nothing like waking up in the morning, right, to pre-market and seeing your portfolio just tank, right? Tank. I'm talking about 4-5% just tanking, okay? And you know why my portfolio is tanking, guys? My portfolio is tanking because the market is afraid of inflation, right? And when inflation happens, there's a chance that Feds may raise interest rates. Now, Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell are acting like they're not going to do it. I don't know. We might not do it. We plan on keeping them low into the next couple of years until we reach full employment. But, you know, there's a chance that it can raise up. Kind of like the spike that we saw when the March year-over-year inflation data came out that showed that, yeah, we're seeing a spike in inflation. But, you know, according to Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell, that's just transitory. Okay, it's temporary. It'll go away. Just keep spending money. Okay, obviously, the market's not buying this BS, right? That's why my portfolio is tanking. Okay, inflation rises. People have to adjust their discount rates in terms of how they value these companies going into the future, right? Cash flows become less valuable. Okay, becomes less valuable, right? This is basic corporate finance, right? But what makes me even more upset is that you have people like Juan Williams, who's a Democrat elitist, I guess, who goes on TV and tries to tell me that what I'm seeing out in the everyday world, right? All these stores are looking for workers, begging for workers, okay, offering sign-on bonuses just to work. All these commodity prices rising, okay, and my portfolio tanking because the actual investors in the financial industry think there's going to be inflation. But yet I have Juan Williams telling me that seeing is not believing. I should not believe what I'm saying and the money that I'm currently losing because of the Biden administration's reckless spending. And I am so happy that Jesse Waters smacked down Juan Williams' ridiculous take that I'm going to play for you guys, as he basically suggests that we're not seeing any inflation and we're not seeing any labor shortages. Take a look.
What do you have to say to Dana's cogent analysis?
I know she loves those anecdotes. She loves having guests on the show, so I'm all for Dana. But I must say that I think numbers do matter in economics, and if we really had a labor shortage, I think you would see wage rates go up, and we're not seeing wages suddenly skyrocketing because there's a labor shortage in America. That's not the case. In fact, I would also say there's no sign of inflation out there. You look at something like the 10-year bonds. The 10-year bond right now, if you went out and bought a 10-year bond right now, the interest rate's like 1.6%. So that means people are buying them, and they are buying them, on the premise that inflation is going to be less than 1%, near zero, for the next 10 years. These are people who are in the financial services business. It's their business. The GDP right now, if it goes at first quarter rates, we would have like a 6% growth rate. So these are all very positive. Yeah, we might have some hiccups there, supply chains, disruptions, but this is not about anybody being a slacker, or somehow lazy. No, this is just not who we are, and it's not the American story. I can tell you that.
Jesse, what do you want to talk about the
numbers?
Please,
if I may. Juan said so many things that were wrong there. I'm going to do my best to refute all of them. First of all, Juan, you talk about no labor shortage. There were 7 million job openings last month, and only 250,000 Americans took a job. That's what you'd call a shortage of workers.
You see the labor rate?
Second
You see the price of labor going up?
Juan, hey, Juan, you want to talk about commodity prices? Gasoline, food, lumber, everything's going up, and that's actually in our research packet. So how did I read the research and you didn't? That's a first. Second of all, you get $800 a week with unemployment benefits. All right? $800 a week. Let's say your wife also gets $800 a week. You know how much that adds up to a year, Juan? That's $80,000 a year for, as Dana said, staying on your couch. Rational decision to stay on your couch when you're making $15,000 above the median income level.
God.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money, Juan. You're going to now say, and this is what Biden said, which was probably the dumbest thing he's ever said. That's why he's an economic illiterate, as Greg suggested. He goes, well, you know what? Why don't businesses, they just raise wages? Oh, like these small business owners are like Jerry Jones, owner of the Cowboys, just like throwing around $20 million contracts and signing free agents in the offseason. These are mom and pop retail shops and restaurant owners. They're not just going to be like, all right, you know what? Dishwasher, let's give you 40 grand. Hostess, let's give you 35 grand. They are small profit margins, Juan. They don't have money like that to just raise wages. You got to be out of your mind.
Guys, Juan Williams literally might be the worst political commentator on TV, right? He's getting up there with Joy Reid. He really is. He's getting up there. And I'm so glad Fox is not letting him have his own show, that he's just one of these, people on the 5. He's not leading anything major because this guy literally is economically illiterate. He does not know anything, okay? Either that or he's just shilling for the Democrats, okay? Because, guys, I'm going to let you listen to what small business owners are actually saying on the ground, okay? And what they're saying on the ground, what we're seeing right on the ground. I know you guys go out and you see, oh man, people are hiring everywhere. This is not something that's being made up. So listen to this small business owner talk about how he's struggling just to hire people.
Dino DeCario knows the restaurant market. He's been in business with 2 locations in Westmoreland County for more than 3 decades.
I've been in business 32 years, and it's never been this difficult to find people.
The signs tell the story right now. Staffing at DeCario's Greensburg location so short, he's closing the restaurant on Mondays just to give his team a break.
You can't take advantage of people. They're working, some of them guys working, girls working 6-7 days. It's not fair to them.
Like so many business owners right now, DeCario says he's tried to boost interest, keeping wages well above minimum wage, offering unlimited overtime to anyone that wants it, along with a list of other benefits.
If you look up and down the highway, everybody's offering Burger King $1,500 bonus. That says it all.
According to the National Federation of Independent Business, nearly 60% of small businesses were trying to hire people in April. 44% of those weren't able to fill open positions. And that's just small businesses. DeCario says he thinks expanded unemployment benefits are keeping people home.
Everybody needed help. Everybody wasn't working. But I think we've gone too far. We need to get people back to work. And I think there's the unemployment compensation. And I know people may be mad at me for saying that, but we need help. People got to come back to work.
A small business owner tells us the reality. But Juan Williams is trying to tell us that there's no labor shortages. There's no sign of inflation. Okay? These guys, these small business owners are having to raise their wages. They're having to pay more, right, in order to attract workers. And some people might say, well, why is that a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing that these small businesses have to raise wages, right? Shouldn't they be paying people more? And I would say rising wages are good, right? They are good. But when they're artificially being increased by the fact that these small businesses are having to compete with the government, what happens is that you're at risk of overheating the economy and causing inflation because we have a lot of money, but we don't have enough goods and services to absorb all that money, okay? And when you don't have enough goods and services to absorb all that money, that's when the price of goods is going to rise, right? Wages are going to rise because these companies need to hire people to meet the demand, right? They need to up productivity, okay? We need to increase the capacity of the goods and services that we have, okay? And a lot of people, right, their wages may increase. However, that doesn't mean what they can actually buy and afford can increase, because if the price of those goods and services goes up, then they're effectively not really making more money. Okay, this is not real economic growth. Okay, and that's the problem with inflation. Inflation eats at the value of the dollars that you earn. So yes, you may earn more, but those dollars are not going to be able to buy as much as they otherwise would. And like I said, guys, wages going up is not necessarily a bad thing in and of themselves. But in a situation like this, it's not happening because you have some growing industry that has real productivity, that's producing real goods and services. Okay, that's not why this is happening. This is happening because these companies are being forced to compete with the government, who has an unlimited piggy bank, or at the very least, they think they have an unlimited piggy bank. And we've already stimulated the economy enough. Okay, we've basically spent almost $6-7 trillion over the last year on top of what we already spend. Okay, so we already have enough stimulus. We don't need more stimulus. Okay, we need to try to get people back to work. We're gonna see some inflation regardless. Okay, you don't go and spend an extra $6 trillion and think that you're not going to see any inflation. We're gonna see a little bit, right? We're gonna see some regardless. But I think Biden is risking us seeing some hyperinflation, right? Some inflation that is way above the average that we've had over the past decade or so. And this is not a good thing long term, right? Now, before the past, we haven't seen that much inflation, right? It hasn't been that big of a deal, okay, for the last couple of decades. But like I told you guys, and I've been talking about this literally for months. Okay? If you watch my channel, you at the very least know generally what's going on, okay? Because I talk about all this stuff, right? I'm versatile, if you guys haven't noticed. All this spending that the Biden administration is doing right now, during a period where we're projected to see record levels of GDP growth, is really unnecessary. It's unnecessary. We don't need it. But the Biden administration is afraid that they're going to repeat what happened in 2008, where they felt like Obama's plan wasn't enough, right? They felt like they didn't spend enough, and that's why it took longer than people thought for the recovery during the Great Recession, okay? And they don't want to repeat that. So the Biden administration is basically saying, well, we don't want that to happen again, so we're just going to spend as much as we can. We're not going to worry about it. We'll worry about it afterwards, okay? But ultimately, what's going to end up happening here is that if the Biden administration, especially if they pass this $4 trillion infrastructure package, they're going to just keep pouring more money on the economy, right? That there's rumors that Democrats want more stimulus checks, so we could get more stimulus checks, right? You're going to be pouring more money into the economy, and it's not like they're getting rid of the unemployment benefits, anything like that. So again, you're going to have more money into the economy and not enough people that's willing to work to fill these jobs. And I'm just afraid that it's going to lead to massive inflation. Okay. This is not the time to be progressive with money, right? It's not the time to be progressive with money. Right now, it's the time to be conservative. When things are going great, you be conservative, right? When things are actually doing bad, yes, you spend the money. You need to spend the money to get the economy going, right? Reagan did that. He spent money, right? He cut taxes, but ultimately he spent money, right? That's ultimately what they had to do when the economy was actually bad. However, right now, the economy is not bad, right? The economy is projected to grow. The economy is on fire, okay? We have massive consumer demand, but we don't have enough people to meet that demand. And we need to make sure we get people employed, right? We need people working, right? And instead of focusing on how do we get people back to work, right? Forcing them back to work, the Biden administration is giving them more leeway not to work, okay? Because they want companies to pay more. And this is Biden giving in to the progressives. And again, like I said, guys, he's going to end up being Jimmy Carter. He wants to be FDR, but he's not FDR. Okay, he's going to end up being Jimmy Carter. So Juan Williams, I'm glad Jesse Waters schooled him on that. He just has the worst takes on TV, right? He's basically become the punching bag of the five, right? And that's where he will stay as long as he keeps giving stupid takes like this, because everybody's seeing what's happening, right? Even Obama's advisor, Larry Summers, sees what's happening. He's calling out the Biden administration because all this spending and the risk of inflation, and then you go on TV and you make this silly take. Again, this is why he has no credibility. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.